Hi, we're going to talk about the difference between perfect and just right versus good enough. Because one of the things that's super common for our worry to do is to really make us feel like we have to have things perfect or just right. It feels pretty intense sometimes. You need to have things perfect or just right. And when you really pause to think about it, it's actually kind of hard to think about things that really actually have to be perfect or just right. Most things end up being in the category of good enough. The only things I've thought of over the years that truly have to be perfect, like a phone number. If you dial one number wrong, you're not going to get the person you're wanting to get. If your number is 292-8000 and I dial 292-8001, I'm not going to get you, right? And then similar things are email addresses or passwords. If you have one letter off, it's not going to work. But there's so many other things that just pretty like they're good enough. We can get through. We can figure things out. And so we really want to be aware then of when our anxiety is Tabitha is making us feel like things have to be perfect, have to be just right. Because when we listen and obey that part of our brain that's saying, and is having that false alarm for things that have to be perfect and just right, when we're obeying that, then we're growing that part and that part will get bossier. Tabitha will get bossier. This happens a lot on things like schoolwork, grades, and let's think about it. If I do fail a math quiz, is that truly an emergency? Is that life or death? Or is it a bummer? Is it upsetting? Yes. Is it fun to fail a math quiz? No, it's not. But we're going to get through it, right? Even if we fail an entire math class, we can get through it. Even if we fail an entire year of school, we can get through it, right? Not that I'm saying let's fail school, but there's this tendency that our worry has to make things feel gigantic and the worst ever. And so we have to do everything perfect or just right. Some other examples are things like having to have our backpack just right, or things on our shelves just right, or our hair just right, have to like make sure it's okay, and so spend lots of time in the morning getting hair just right, or wear just the right clothes so we don't get judged, walk okay down the hallways, don't ever give an answer in class because if you give the wrong answer that'll be so embarrassing. So many ways that this turns up. Handwriting, art's a big one. So being aware that this is yet again that false alarm of our survival system can really help us to start going, okay, wait a second. This is Tabitha, and I don't have to listen to her and to take this seriously. I can pivot and I can do something different. I can be okay with my handwriting not being perfect. I can be okay if I've got a loop in my hair, and we'll do loops in our hair. It's not staying this time on purpose, not staying on purpose in sessions, or we'll switch the markers around in sessions, the lids and the colors. Or here's a great one for perfect. My little panda here that's so cute. So like that, he's just lined up. But for lots of anxious brains, if it's off, oh, it's not right. It's not just right. We've got to make it right. We've got to put it so it's just lined up right. But if it's not, if we just put it on like that, is that really an emergency? Are we going to blow up into a billion bits if this isn't just right? On my Tabitha picture right here, there's lots of things that I can see that are like not perfect about it. So should I redraw and redraw and redraw until it's perfect? Oh, it's good enough. So we want to look for the good enough, and we want to defy Tabitha and not take her seriously with this, because these really are false alarms. And the more that we do that, the more we become used to, just like that water analogy, we get used to the water. We'll rewire our brain, and our brain will get used to, oh, okay, we don't have to have these things perfect. We can have things we can make mistakes, or we can have things off a little bit or different from how we thought we could have them. And it's okay. We're going to survive if it's not the way that we thought it had to be. Or we're going to survive if things aren't perfect. We're going to survive when things are hard. We're going to survive, and we're going to be able to be okay and get through when things are uncomfortable and messy and difficult and painful and nerve-wracking and all those things. We can get through those times. And let's think about if we really did have to have everything in life perfect and just right, and if we waited until everything in life was perfect and just right to move forward or to try something, like if I was not going to try, let's say, a new instrument until I felt like I could do it perfectly, how long would that take me to try a new instrument or a new sport or say hi to a new person to make a new friend if I had to wait until I thought I was going to do it perfectly? Like forever, right? Until I was 132 years old, maybe. That's not realistic. And so we can start going, okay, it's worth it to go up that hill. It's worth it I'm willing to be uncomfortable and to do this hard thing and to not listen to what Tabitha, what our worry is saying about things have to be perfect and just right. You can do this. You've got this.